Howdy folks, I'm Higgedly Hedge Bedstraw, hurriedly hiding hundreds of hissing hornets.
I'm Amber.
And here are more hornets for us to hide, but we didn't do a very good job and now they're stinging Amber.
No!
So let's get started on that. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Having to Be Asked to Transfer a Shiny Pokemon When She Wanted? I genuinely do love my girlfriend, but she is always convincing herself that I don't do enough for her, and it's really stressing for me. We had planned out a bunch of raids today. Pokemon is one of her favorite games, and I started playing because she loves it so much. I do also enjoy the game now. Well, we were hanging out with friends when I got my first legendary shiny. I got it before she did, and she also wanted it. It was my first time getting something before she got it. She seemed sad afterwards. She said that she wouldn't be feeling good and wanted to go home. So we went home. I could tell that she was quite upset with me. I asked her what was wrong, but she wouldn't say. After a few hours of that, I asked her if I could do something to make it better. And she said that I didn't care about her, obviously, and I shouldn't bother. I said that I could transfer her that shiny Pokemon that I got to make her feel better. I wanted it, obviously, but I wanted her to be happy more than I wanted it. She said that I didn't need to, and I said that I was happy to do it. It cost a ton of Stardust, but I transferred the Pokemon to her. That's when the fight really happened. She still was upset hours later. I asked her if she was really sick. It seemed like she was just mad at me, and I asked what I did wrong. She said again that I didn't care about her, and if I cared about her, I would have sent her the Pokemon without being asked. I said I did send it without being asked. She said I only sent it because I could tell that she was upset, not because I wanted to do something genuinely good for her. She said it proved that I didn't love her. That if I loved her, I would have sent it before she got upset because I knew that she wanted the shiny. But I found the argument really frustrating. Even outside of video games, I would never have her send me something to prove that she loves me. She's caught so many shinies, way more than me, and I would never do that for her. Plus, it's more rewarding to catch them yourself than have your partner give them up. So I argued that I didn't mean that at all, and I always do nice things for her without being asked. But she's taking the one time that I didn't as proof that I didn't love her. Eventually, I said maybe the proof that I love you is that I don't ask you to give things up that you like to appease me and prove your love. Well, she didn't really like that, and now is even more mad at me. It's obviously about the Pokemon. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. This is absurd behavior and really not a healthy relationship dynamic. You should be able to keep things that you get in a video game for yourself. You should not... Wanting to keep a shiny Pokemon does not mean that you don't love your partner.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with OP here. It's obviously not about the Pokemon here, right? I mean, this is about her behavior, and she seems like a selfish type of individual where she's always expecting OP to go out of their way to, do these nice things to prove that he loves her. And I don't think that's healthy at all. And plus, he has a point. It's not like he's going out here trying to make it so that she always has to prove that her affections or anything like that, right?
Well, she's the one who's being selfish here. She's kind of the center of the universe. What is she doing for OP, to make him feel loved? Is she giving him things that she likes? And the answer is, it sounds like no. And again, it's her right to keep her shiny Pokemon. It's both of their rights to keep their own shiny Pokemon.
Yeah.
But it seems very strange the way she is trying to equate, if you don't automatically give me anything I could feasibly want, you don't love me. That is not a healthy idea of what it means to be loved.
Yeah. So I think that maybe this relationship might need some serious reconsideration. I mean, maybe she needs to grow up a little bit more before she's actually in a committed relationship.
Yeah, I mean, if she's just gonna throw a fit because OP caught a Pokemon that she didn't have and sulk the whole day.
Yeah. And potentially maybe either couples therapy or individual counseling for her or something like that, because this isn't a healthy way to cope with disappointment. I would have a hard time saying that couples therapy would be the right answer here, because I don't know that that's going to be the solution. But
how manipulative she is. That is my big issue, is that she is being downright manipulative here.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Today I Messed Up by Forgetting that my car auto-connects to Spotify. I genuinely think the most embarrassing moment of my life happened today. For some context, I'm a 27-year-old female software engineer, and most of my coworkers are men in their 40s and older. So today, my team was going to lunch, and I offered to drive. 2 coworkers got into my car, and my phone automatically connects to Spotify. Except it always takes about like 10 to 15 seconds to fully connect, so I didn't realize and think of it in the moment. I had something in my trunk that I needed to grab real quick, so I got out, and in that time, my phone connected, and the last thing that I was listening to was a smutty book. And yes, it was one of those scenes exactly. I got back into the car, hearing the main character of the audiobook talking about how there was not enough friction between her thighs to satisfy her carnal lust. I'm dead, deceased. Because I'm dead, I of course suddenly can't function properly, and muted and unmuted it like 3 times completely, just fumbling with my radio. As I'm doing this, my coworker in the passenger seat goes, "Oh, were we listening to ACOTAR?" My coworker in the back seat says, "What's ACOTAR?" Apparently, you can die twice. That's fun. I then just say it's a book series us girls love, and we all left it at that. Honestly, great joke from my coworker. Maybe I'll be able to laugh at it in 10 years or so. All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, it's just a funny story, you know, like I understand the embarrassment in the moment, but your coworkers are probably going to forget about it very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I would be careful if I were OP because, like, this could constitute sexual harassment, so they do need to be cautious in that. This wasn't intentional, but you
Well,
can
yeah.
still, this could be construed as sexual harassment. It sounds like everyone was fine, everyone was, in the end, all right with the situation, but I do think, like, they do need to be careful because that could be a workplace violation. But, I mean, this was just an accident, and I mean, I'm sure if they talked to HR, and if somebody had reported them, they would explain that this was completely unintentional, and you know, I don't think much would have come out of it anyhow, right? So I think that OP is of course not in the wrong here, and I think that they are right to feel embarrassed about this, but I'm sure that this is going to hopefully go away with time, as long as OP doesn't keep bringing it up or something like that, right? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Today I Messed Up by Accidentally Flirting with a Customer. I'm a 24-year-old female, and I work retail, and I have a script that I follow pretty much every time that I interact with a customer. When I approach them, I say, "Is there something I can help you find today?" And if they respond with a no, I will reply with, "Okay, well, if that changes, just let me know." So today, I walked up to a woman, and I asked her if there was something that I could do to help her. And she responded by saying, "No, I'm with him," and points towards her boyfriend as he was walking into the bathroom. I respond with my automatic script that I use virtually with every customer. "Okay, if that changes, let me know." Well, she didn't respond, and I ran away quickly, immediately, and we didn't speak again. It doesn't help that I'm a mask-presenting woman, and I look very, very gay, which I am. I called my girlfriend and confessed my sins, and she thought that it was absolutely hilarious. If anyone could make me feel better in the comments by telling their own story of when they misspoke to make me feel better, that would be greatly appreciated. And we'll read a couple of the comments. And CrowCrazy98 says, "I'm a university police officer, and I just ended a on-foot interaction with someone by telling them to drive safe. What I tell everyone at a traffic stop after they were walking to their apartment. I just got in my car and shook my head." And OP replies, "Equivalent of a waiter telling a customer to enjoy their food and the customer saying, 'You too.'" And Rusty Girl says, "When I was a sales rep in a showroom, if a customer said that they wanted to look around, I would autopilot either 'no worries' or 'go crazy,' or 'sure, look away,' followed by 'let me know if you do need help later on.' One very sleep-deprived day, I greeted a woman who wanted to browse, and my autopilot didn't quite kick in, so I promptly told her to go away." And OP replies, "I've done the same thing. Sometimes people will come in and say that they've never been in the store before and want to look around, so I would say, go ahead and get lost in the aisles, and one time I just told the customer to get lost." And Rusty Girl replies, "I'm glad that I'm not alone in this particular goof. It's been in my memories for about 20 years now, and I still cringe. Thankfully, the customer had a laugh over it while I slowly melted into the floor." And the implication says, once I was waiting tables, and after a family ordered their meal, I got tongue-tied, so instead of saying, I'll get that started up, or I'll get that fired up, I said, I'll get that farted up right away. And Snailo says, I was walking to work one day, and I saw a nuthatch darting around the tree trunk. I spent the rest of the walk musing about whether they are in the same family as woodpeckers. I arrived at work and promptly told my boss that I had seen a nutpecker on the walk in. 40 years later, I still wince at that memory. All right, folks, what do you think of that story?
I mean, I think, it's just one of those things that happens when you autopilot. Hopefully the customer understood.
I mean, I think we've all autopiloted and all understand that sometimes people just kind of like respond with automatic responses. I think we're all NPCs or something like that at some point in time. I don't know. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Flipping the Board and Leaving with the Entire Group after the host started making up rules? I have this casual board game group that meets up every other Friday. We usually hang out at my place at our local cafe, but last night this guy Dave offered to host at his apartment. Dave is a friend of a friend who joined our group about 2 months ago. He's always a bit competitive, but we never had any real issues until he spent nearly $100 on this complicated new strategy game and insisted that we play. The game had a massive rule book, and Dave spent almost 40 minutes explaining the setup. Everything started off fine, but by round 3, it became obvious that Dave was completely obsessed with winning his own game. The first red flag was when my friend Sarah made a move that put Dave in a bad position. Dave instantly stopped the game and claimed that there was a hidden trait card that blocked her move. When I asked him to show me that specific selection in the manual, he got defensive and he said that he translated it from a European forum and that we just had to trust him. Trust me, bro. Well, 10 minutes later, I was about to win a major resource card. Dave literally grabbed my game piece from the table and said that because it was raining outside his window, his custom house rules dictated that all the resources collections were halved for that turn. I told him that he was completely making stuff up to save his own layout. He started getting loud and telling me that it was his apartment and his expensive game, and if we did not like his system, that we could leave. He was being incredibly smug about it because he thought that we would just swallow it since we were already 2 hours into the session. I absolutely lost my patience with his attitude. I looked him dead in the eyes, I reached out, and I completely flipped the main board and scattered all of the wooden tokens across his carpet, and I stood up. I told everyone that my car was parked outside and that we could just go back to my place to play Dune or something actually fun. The other 3 players looked shocked for a second, but then they just grabbed their coats and they walked out with me. Dave was left standing there in the middle of his living room screaming that I ruined his expensive setup and that I'm being banned from ever talking to him again. We went to my place and had a great night, and everyone thanked me for getting them out of there. Now Sarah texted me this morning saying that while Dave was being a massive jerk, flipping the board was a bit too aggressive and that I should have just conceded the game nicely. I do not think that I did anything wrong because he was holding the whole evening hostage with his ego. Am I the jerk for how I handled this? All right, folks, what do you think?
I'm going to say everyone is the jerk a little bit, both OP and Dave, but Dave more so. I think if OP had just said that I'm not going to play when you're making up rules and left, that would have been totally fine. I think flipping the game was a little immature and a little much.
Yeah, I think that OP is less of the jerk in this situation. Mm-hmm. Dave making up his rules as he went along just because he was losing was really in poor taste. Mm-hmm. And you have to acknowledge that there's a good chance that you might lose the game, right?
Right, especially if you're playing with lots of people. Mm-hmm. The odds are not in your favor.
Yeah. So I don't think that OP meant this in... I think that OP could have handled this a little bit of a different situation. I think flipping the board was a little bit extreme. I think they could have just gotten up and said, hey, everyone, I'm leaving. You're welcome to join me. I'm not going to deal with Dave, cooking the rules and making them in his favor. That's not a fair game, right? I'm sure it was more satisfying to flip the board, though. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. You're the jerk, and that's an understatement.
Apparently the wheel is Dave.
Yeah, the wheel is Dave today.
The wheel's like, I want to rig a game.
All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What do you call a snowman with a six-pack?
Well, I mean, I probably called them chill the soda snowman guy who gives you chilled sodas. Yeah.
The abdominal snowman. I wanted to say abominable so badly.
The abdominable. Yeah, I mean, that one wasn't actually bad. I thought they were going to go with some kind of soda related one instead of like an actual like abs, but I mean, that works fine. I mean, that was not bad for this book. Let's put it that way. And I have licorice spice.
And today is a very special day. It is Lucky Penny Day.
Oh yeah, it is a lucky penny. And Amber has a story about this lucky penny.
Yeah, I found this on my birthday. We were just finishing a walk in our neighborhood. And you can't really see from here, but this is a 1953 wheat penny. I can't say too much more about the significance without spoiling some plot points in my books, but you will see pennies show up in my books. And so it was a really special moment.
So make sure to go find yourself a wheat penny. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday, Junior.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Thanks so much to Amber for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on flipping board games.
While it's probably best not to flip board games, you do not have to play with people who make up their own rules and skew things to win.
You can flip a piano, you can flip a board game, and you can flip a house, but you can't flip a piano. I don't know.
I'm very confused.
You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish or something like that.
Oh.
I don't know. I was just playing off of that. But thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!